A 27-year-old just turned down a chance to buy a Rolex. Instead, he put that $10,000 somewhere else. Fast forward 20 years, he's now worth over $4 million. And the guy who bought the Rolex? Still paying off credit card debt. What did he do differently? He understood something most people in their 20s don't. This decade isn't about looking rich, it's about becoming rich. And today, I'm breaking down the exact 7 investments that will set you up for life. Stick around until the end because investment number 6 is the one nobody talks about, but it's made more millionaires than real estate and stocks combined. Quick legal note. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is personalized financial advice. This is purely educational content based on research and general investment principles. Always do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making investment decisions. All right, let's dive in. Here's the brutal truth about your 20s. You're either going to waste the most valuable asset you'll ever have, or you're going to leverage it to build generational wealth. And that asset? It's not money. It's not connections. It's time. $1 invested at 25 is worth $11 by the time you're 65. But that same dollar invested at 35? Only worth $7. You literally have a 57% advantage just by starting now. But here's what most financial advice gets wrong. They tell you to just invest in index funds and wait 40 years. Boring, generic, and honestly, incomplete. Because wealth building in your 20s isn't just about stocks. It's about building multiple income engines that work together. Think of it like a basketball team. You don't want 5 point guards. You need different positions working in harmony. So let's break down the 7 positions on your wealth team. Investment number 1, max out your 401k match and open a Roth IRA. I know, you're thinking, retirement? I'm in my 20s. I want to live now. And you will. But listen to this. If your employer offers a 401k match, they're literally giving you free money. If you contribute 6% and they match 3%, that's an instant 50% return. Show me any other investment that guarantees 50% returns with zero risk. I'll wait. Let's do the math. Say you make $50,000 a year. You contribute 6%, that's $3,000. Your employer adds $1,500. That's $4,500 invested per year. Over 40 years with a conservative 7% return, that's over $1 million just from that match alone. But here's the real power move, the Roth IRA. You can contribute $7,000 a year. You pay taxes now when you're probably in a lower tax bracket, and then it grows tax-free forever. That means when you pull out $500,000 in retirement, you keep all of it. Not a penny goes to the IRS. Meanwhile, traditional 401k withdrawals get taxed at whatever rate exists in 40 years. Want to bet taxes will be lower in the future? Yeah, me neither. Action step. If you haven't already, set up automatic contributions today. Even if it's just $50 per paycheck, future you will literally thank current you. Investment number 2, low-cost index funds in a taxable brokerage account. Now that you've got your retirement accounts on autopilot, it's time to invest money you can access before age 59 and a half. Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor ever, said that when he dies, he wants 90% of his wife's money invested in a simple S&P 500 index fund. Not fancy hedge funds, not crypto, not individual stocks, just boring, simple index funds. Why? Because over the past 100 years, the S&P 500 has averaged about 10% returns annually. Some years it's down 30%, some years it's up 40%, but zoom out and it just keeps climbing. And here's the kicker, 90% of professional fund managers can't beat the S&P 500 over a 10-year period. These are people with PhDs, Bloomberg terminals, and teams of analysts, and they still lose to the index. The strategy? Buy something like VTI or VOO that track the total market or the S&P 500. The fees are insanely low, like 0.03% per year. Compare that to actively managed funds charging 1 to 2%, and you're literally keeping an extra $10,000 for every million you invest. Set up automatic investments, $100, $500, whatever you can afford, every single month. This is called dollar cost averaging. You buy more shares when prices are low, fewer when they're high, and it smooths out the volatility. Apps like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab make this stupidly easy. You can set it up in 15 minutes. Investment number 3, a high-yield savings account with 6 months of expenses. Okay, this one isn't sexy. It won't make you rich, but it will keep you from going broke. And that's just as important. Life happens. Cars break down. You lose your job. Medical emergencies pop up. Without an emergency fund, you're one bad month away from going into debt. And debt is like running on a treadmill. Lots of effort, zero progress. Here's the math that should terrify you. The average credit card charges 20 to 25% interest. If you invest in stocks averaging 10% returns, but you're carrying credit card debt at 20%, you're literally losing 10% per year. You're working backwards. Now, regular savings accounts at big banks pay like 0.01% interest. It's basically robbery. But high-yield savings accounts at online banks like Marcus, Ally, or Capital One pay 4 to 5%. On a $10,000 emergency fund, that's $400 to $500 in free money just for keeping your safety net somewhere smarter. The goal? Save $1,000 first as a mini emergency fund, then build up to 3 months of expenses. Finally, work your way to 6 months. If you spend $2,500 a month, that's $15,000 total. And yes, this comes before investing heavily in stocks. You can't build wealth if you're constantly getting knocked back to zero. Investment number 4, your skills and earning power. This is where most people get it backwards. They obsess over optimizing returns on $5,000 while completely ignoring the fact that they could increase their income by $20,000 per year. Think about it. You can spend 100 hours learning to pick individual stocks and maybe beat the market by 2 to 3%. But you can spend 100 hours learning a high-income skill and increase your salary by 20 to 50%. I'm talking about skills like coding and software development, digital marketing and SEO, sales and negotiation, data analysis, video editing and content creation, and public speaking. A software developer in their 20s can go from $60,000 to $120,000 in just a few years. That's an extra $60,000 per year. Invested properly, that extra income becomes millions over a career. The best part? You can learn almost anything for free or cheap. YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, free code camp. There's no excuse. Even if you don't change careers, a side skill can become a side hustle. Freelance writing, web design, tutoring, social media management. These can add $500 to $2,400 per month. That's $6,000 to $24,000 per year to invest. If you invest an extra $1,000 per month from age 25 to 65 at 8% returns, you end up with over $3 million from side hustle money. The math is simple. Increasing your income by 30% beats optimizing your investment returns by 2% every single time. Investment number 5, real estate through REITs or house hacking. Now, I'm not saying go buy a $400,000 house in your 20s, but you can start investing in real estate without being a landlord. REITs, real estate investment trusts, let you invest in real estate like you're buying stocks. They own apartment buildings, shopping centers, warehouses, and they pay out 90% of their income as dividends by law. Companies like Realty Income, Vanguard Real Estate ETF, or O, pay dividends monthly. It's like collecting rent checks without fixing toilets. You can start with $100, set up dividend reinvestment, and watch it snowball. A $10,000 investment in good REITs might pay 4 to 6% annually. That's $400 to $600 per year, which buys more shares, which pays more dividends. But here's the real move for people in their 20s, house hacking. Buy a duplex or triplex with an FHA loan. You only need 3.5% down. Live in one unit, rent out the others. Your mortgage might be $2,000, but your tenants pay $1,500. You're living for $500 while building equity. After a couple years, you move out, keep it as a rental, and do it again. I know someone who did this 3 times by age 30, now owns 3 properties, tenants cover all the mortgages, and he lives for free while building $800,000 in equity. Obviously, this isn't for everyone. Location matters, credit score matters. But if you can do it, it's one of the fastest wealth building strategies out there. Investment number 6, and this is the big one most people ignore. Invest in building or owning part of a business. Here's a stat that should wake you up. 88% of millionaires are self-made, and most of them built wealth through business ownership, not just climbing the corporate ladder. When you have a job, you trade time for money. You get paid once for your work. But when you own a business or equity in one, you get paid over and over for the same work. In your 20s, you don't need to start the next Google. You can start simple, an e-commerce store selling products on Amazon or Shopify, a YouTube channel or content business, a digital product like templates, courses, or ebooks, or a service business like consulting, agency work, or freelancing. The difference? A side hustle makes you $2,000 this month. A business makes you $2,000 every month, even while you sleep. Or if you work at a startup, negotiate for equity. Stock options can be worth more than your salary if the company grows. 0.1% of a company that goes from 10 million to 100 million is worth $100,000. Yes, businesses fail. Most do, actually. But even if your side business only makes $500 per month, that's $6,000 per year, and you're learning skills that make you more valuable everywhere. Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook at 20. Evan Spiegel started Snapchat at 23. You don't need to build a billion-dollar company, but you should bet on yourself and your ideas. Investment number 7, your network and relationships. This is the one nobody thinks of as an investment, but it might be the most valuable one on this list. There's a saying, your network is your net worth, and it's uncomfortably true. Think about how most opportunities actually happen. You get your next job from someone you know. You find a business partner through a friend. You learn about an investment from someone in your network. You get mentorship from someone who sees potential in you. In your 20s, you should be going to industry events and conferences, joining online communities in your field, reaching out to people you admire on LinkedIn, and actually showing up and adding value, not just taking. The key is to give before you take. Help others, share knowledge, make introductions. The best networkers aren't takers, they're connectors. I've seen average performers with great networks out-earn brilliant people with no connections by 2 to 3 times. It's not fair, but it's reality. Spend time with people who are where you want to be. If you want to be wealthy, spend time with wealthy people. If you want to be fit, spend time with fit people. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Invest in relationships now, and they'll pay dividends for the next 40 years. All right, let's recap the 7 investments you must make in your 20s. Number 1, max your 401k match and open a Roth IRA. That's your foundation. Number 2, buy low-cost index funds in a brokerage account. Consistent, reliable growth. Number 3, build a 6-month emergency fund in a high-yield savings account, your safety net. Number 4, invest in skills that increase your earning power, the best ROI. Number 5, start with real estate through REITs or house hacking, build real assets. Number 6, create or buy into a business. Own equity, not just a paycheck. Number 7, build your network. Relationships compound like interest. Now, you don't need to do all 7 perfectly. Start with what you can, even if it's just $50 per month into a Roth IRA and spending evenings learning a new skill. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is starting now and being consistent. Do these 7 things throughout your 20s and you'll be in the top 5% of your peers financially. Here's your homework. Pick one of these 7 investments and take action on it this week. Not tomorrow, not next month, this week. Drop a comment telling me which investment you're starting with and why. I read every single comment and I want to know what resonates with you. And if you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button because we're building a community of people who are serious about building wealth the right way at every stage of life. Next video, we're breaking down the biggest investment mistakes people make in the 30s. And trust me, some of these will surprise you. This is Wealth Timeline, your stage of life, your investment strategy. I'll see you in the next one.